guys, Christian Cheatrend here, and welcome to the channel for unlocking your universal energy potential. In this week's video, I want to give you 15 tips for remaining in a high vibe state. That's 15 tips for holding yourself in a place of positivity throughout the day. But before we get into that, let's think about why we would want to hold ourselves in a place of positivity. As I've explained in my previous video, there is a massive sort of chemical production facility within our body. And depending on the thoughts that we have, we can either produce feel-good chemicals or feel-bad chemicals. Feel-good chemicals such as dopamine or serotonin, or feel-bad chemicals such as cortisol, which makes us feel stressed. And depending on what chemicals, the feel-good or the bad chemicals, that are coming out into our body and creating these emotions within the body, it will affect how we feel, it will affect our health, and it will actually affect the length of our lives. So what do we mean by high vibe? Well, the body resonates at different frequencies depending on what emotional state that we're in. And I'm putting a little diagram just here to give you a bit of a feel for this, but this can be measured. And the higher states of consciousness, they actually resonate at a higher frequency. So by being high vibe, we're bringing our consciousness level up and feeling good and creating those feel-good chemicals. So without further ado, let's get into my 15 tips for being high vibe. Number 1, meditation. Now I've gone with meditation first of all because to me, once you start to practice meditation and get into more meditative states, you will find actually that you'll be more encouraged to bring in some of the other activities on my list. So I would really recommend, number 1, if you don't meditate now, get into it. Download the Headspace app as a sort of basic intro into it. Or watch some of my videos explaining meditation more, but get into it. 3-5 minutes a day will have a big impact on your state of mind for the sort of few hours running after that. And if you can get into a position where you can meditate 2-3 times a day, then brilliant. But meditation is really useful for maintaining a high vibe state. Number 2, staying present. It is about focusing on the present moment, right now, this second. Focusing on the present moment and practicing doing it. So if you're going for a walk, see if you can get to the end of the street thinking of nothing, and just purely using your senses to take in your environment, but not analysing it. It's about putting complete focus into what you're doing. So maybe you are, I don't know, cleaning something. You'd put all your focus into cleaning that item and not be thinking as you're doing it. That's being present. Number 3, exercise. So it's important, obviously, as human beings that we do exercise. Ideally, a bit of resistance training, a bit of high intensity interval training, and a bit of low intensity training, such as walking. Even if you can just do the low intensity training though, that was a good start. Number 4, this is a real good one for me. This really works well, and that's cold showers. So when I get up in the morning, I will get into the shower and I'll start it on warm to wash myself, but then I'll turn it freezing cold. And when I turn it freezing cold, that's when I'll actually say my morning affirmation, which I talk about in one of my other videos. And you come out of that feeling great. It's hard to, you slowly sort of get used to doing it, and you can do it for longer and longer each time. What I do is a technique, as I turn it really, really cold, is I actually force myself to laugh. So I will literally belly laugh. And by the time I've turned the shower off, I then actually can't stop for quite a few seconds after. So it really does work. You come out of it feeling great. Tip 5, breathing. This is a really good one. If you're not feeling great, you can actually, maybe you're feeling stressed or anxious. I would suggest checking out some of Wim Hof's videos. There's some very basic ones you can do where you sort of breathe in and out for 30 repetitions. Then you once you completely exhaled, you then hold it for a minute, and then you build it up to 1.5 minutes on another round, and then 2 minutes on another round. And it's a really good exercise, and it really calms you down and makes you feel very zen. Number 6, avoid the mainstream media. I cannot stress this enough. If you want to be a happy, high vibrational person, the easiest way to start doing that is by cutting out the mainstream media. Do not consume television news or rolling news. Delete the news app, stop reading the newspapers, stop consuming all this negative information and just get on with your everyday life. The same goes for social media. If you must use it, then limit it. Limit yourself to a certain period of time or certain windows of the day where you allow yourself to go on social media. Don't end up being one of these endless scrollers. I think this goes without saying really, but eat healthy. You know, I'll go through stages where I'll eat healthy and then stages where I won't eat so healthy. And it's hard. It is hard to sort of have the willpower to stay on the straight and narrow and keep eating healthy. But, you know, have a balanced diet, eat plenty of vegetables, eat plenty of fruit. I would, you know, suggest eating fruit and veg every single day in some form. Tip number 8, connect to nature. This is really important. Get out in the big wide world, you know, breathe in the fresh air and, you know, enjoy the wildlife, the animals. It will make you feel more connected as a human being to this planet. So I encourage you to regularly, if you're feeling shit, go out for a walk, get some fresh air and come back and you'll feel a little bit better. Tip number 9, use your imagination. So if you're feeling not great, and you're worried about something, maybe you can take your attention away from that and think of your happiest thought, the happiest time, your favorite place, and just sort of close your eyes and take yourself there. In a way, it's a form of meditation, but use your imagination because the body does not know the difference between the imagined world and the real world. It will still create the same sets of chemicals. Number 10, have sex. Sex is proven to make you feel good, proven even more so if you have a regular partner. So yeah, engage in sex regularly and it will make you feel good. It will release feel-good chemicals. Tip number 11, music. Music is a great way to make us resonate at high frequencies. Obviously, there's sort of a bit of choice to be made in terms of what music works for you. I think certain musics will vibrate at high frequency, like you're going to, for example, classical music versus drill. I'm sure that the classical music would vibrate at high frequency. You're more likely to sort of come out in a calmer, happier state listening to classical than what you would to drill. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to lecture you on that. Whatever floats your boat, if it works for you, then listen to it. Tip number 12, avoid drugs and stimulants. So I'm talking about alcohol, I'm talking about tobacco, I'm talking about caffeine, I'm talking about marijuana. These may all be enjoyable in small quantities. However, if you're getting into a habit of consuming these things on a regular basis, all you're doing is wearing down your faculties over time. And long term, you're sort of maybe, okay, if we take the example of marijuana, it might take you into a higher vibe state initially. But if regular use and you'll sort of be resonating at a lower frequency than what you would have been if you hadn't been consuming it initially. Tip number 13, read, learn, grow. You know, it's been shown that we as humans want to grow. And if we're just, particularly at the moment with lockdown, if you're stuck in the apartment or the house, you know, rather than sort of hypnotizing yourself with hours of Netflix, binging on certain series, why not get out a book and actually a self-help book, and why not read and learn and grow as an individual? And I think you'll find that that's a pathway to increased happiness and vibrating at a high frequency. Tip number 14, really important, sleep. I could do a separate video on sleep. There's so much content really around getting a good night's sleep. But you know, as some basic sort of tips, avoid caffeine before you go to bed. Make sure the room's dark, make sure it's cool. Have a cold shower, you know, cool yourself down, lower your body temperature. This will all help in sleeping. But at the end of the day, you need to get good quality sleep. So that means not sleep that's been induced by alcohol, which removes most of your REM, the same with marijuana. You need good quality sleep. Some people can survive on 4 hours good quality sleep, others people need 8 or 9 hours. We're all different, but getting a good quality of sleep is really essential to maintaining happiness levels. And last but not least, tip number 15 is give service to others. Studies have shown that the happiest people are not the millionaires, not the billionaires. They are people that put their life into a life of service. So the more you can do for others around you, the more you will feel good yourself. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you are interested in more of my content, please do subscribe, hit the like button, and share these videos. And thanks for listening.